this past Thursday at Walt Disneyland in Florida, Star Wars Rise of the Resistance.
Wow, you butchered that.
Did I?
Well, first off, there's no such thing as Walt Disneyland.
Oh,
there's Disneyland, and then there's Walt Disney World.
This guy watches the Imagineer documentaries. He takes this really to heart, real personal, right here. Up next, we have probably the biggest immersive attraction with Disney theme parks. Star Wars Rise of the Resistance is an immersive attraction that opened this Thursday at Disneyland, Disney World, and will be opening January 17th at Disneyland, and will act as the centerpiece for their $1 billion park expansion, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Now, when Galaxy's Edge first opened, as it was a flop.
Yes.
Everyone wrote it off as a massive flop.
Yeah, no, it cost a fortune, and they were paying cast members of their own company to walk around just to fill out attendance to make it look more busy.
Disney execs even tried to go ahead and say that there was some success to Galaxy's Edge, though, pointing out that food and merchandise sales were a big thing that kept it alive.
Yeah, sure, because it was a fortune.
Yeah.
It's like if 5 people paid, it was the equivalent of 50.
That's fair. You're absolutely right. So with only the handful, and what was the one ride there? I believe it was the Millennium Falcon Simulator.
Basically. Yeah, basically, yeah.
So,
but okay, so I watched the ride through of Rise of Resistance. I got a lot of freak show vibes.
Really?
Yes.
As far as what though?
Well, okay, so for one, Rise of the Resistance very much follows the Universal Studios theme park design book, as far as the fact that the ride is about 50% video, and all that video is rear projection.
Okay.
So right from there, I get a lot of Freak Show vibes, because Freak Show is a lot of projection.
A lot of projection, a lot of rear projection. I remember setting up some of that, and it was a pain.
So great. It looks fantastic, and there's a massive amount of story that happens in this ride, which is really cool.
To the point that they even created almost their own movie poster for it. I'm actually going to pull it up one more time just because I love the way it resembles...
They're doing that across the board now. They have a new Mickey's Runaway Train ride that has its own giant poster that's gorgeous too.
It's so great, and I love the design of it.
Yeah, and we've been making posters for our games for quite some time.
Okay, all right.
But anyway, and then aside from the projection stuff, there's a scene. There's a section of the ride where you're in the car and lightsabers are coming through the roof.
Oh, I see where you're...
Yeah. That you're in. Not the car you're in. It's an open-face convertible type of vehicle. But from the actual ceiling, there's lightsaber beams coming through and burning through. And it totally reminded me of Slice's, our Sword Swallower's trailer, where the swords are coming through the ceiling in different locations and intervals. So it made me think, we're on the same page with the Disney Imagineers logic now. We just, the big difference being we don't have
$1 billion
steel structure, and the set is breathtakingly gorgeous,
phenomenal,
breathtaking. There's the one scene where you come into the one room and then all the soldiers are lined up in the white suits, and I was just like
the picture in the top right over here.
It took me a minute where I was like, are those actors, or is that all animatronic? But then they don't really move. They just do a little head tilt, so it's animatronic.
Okay, gotcha.
But it's basically a model dummy with one form of motion. Their head does a little tilt, which, brilliant. But when they first go into the room, I was like, oh my god! It sells. It sells well. I think this is what that land needed to plus it up to get people through the door.
Galaxy's Edge was a $1 billion gamble by Disney, so Rise of Resistance is really going to be the saving grace that pulls them out of whatever debt they put themselves in.
If there's one thing Bob Iger is very good at, it's looking at a situation, assessing it, and plussing it until it makes money. And I think that's what Rise of Resistance is going to do. There's another ride coming too.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Is it did they announce what ride it's going to be? It's going to be in the Star Wars land?
Yeah, I saw a photo for it. But that'll help round things out a little too. But yeah, I think this is really as simple as they just need to promotionally pull back a little bit on the pricing of the food and the merchandising and that stuff. they need to rethink their hotel situation.
What's wrong with the hotel situation?
We've talked about this. The fact that you check in and you're there for 2 days and then you have to check out. You can't stay there and go to the rest of the parks.
You're right.
I think they need to rethink that. And then with Rise of the Resistance, I think they got themselves a home run. I think we're going to see the tide turn on the whole Galaxy's Edge section of.
I definitely know that I'm going to be like one of the first people in line the second I can get down there to get into there. I've always been a fan of like their immersive attractions, like the whole like going into like on a spaceship. If you're like to believe that you're on a spaceship, to believe that you're in the room with a bunch
world.
of absolutely.
You are 100% immersed in that world. Now we've talked about, and I don't think it's going to be an issue, but there's people who love Star Wars and there's people who don't like it at all.
Oh, absolutely, those people exist.
But
they're wrong, but they exist.
There's more than enough people who love Star Wars for this to be a success.
Yeah, I'm not going to go on the record and say that I'm not going to say that it's the most popular movie out there, but it's got to be top 10. It has to be top 10.
It's top 10. 100%.
Gotta be. So with the amount of people that are going to go and flood this place, or probably already have flooded this place, considering it opened this past Thursday. So I'm going to hear about reviews back real soon from how well it's doing.
Yep.
But that is that. I remember being a kid and going to their Lilo and Stitch immersive thing where like Stitch was jumping around on the chairs and stuff, and like I think he farted in my brother's face. It was actually really great. They had like a little machine that sent out like a smell so that you can like smell it happen. It was great. So, Rise of the Resistance opened this past Thursday at Disney.
And it broke first day.
Wait, did it really?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
My God.
I feel the pain, Disney. I feel the pain.
I mean, nothing is perfect the first time around. Literally nothing will be perfect the first time around. I bet you, and within an hour, they probably had that thing fixed.
Yeah, I have no idea. I didn't catch up on that, but I do know it did break down on them first day, and it was pretty bad. But I'm sure they got it together.
Well, that concludes our thoughts on Rise of Resistance. This also brings us to an end of another.
And we hope you'll join us next time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't below. Like, comment, subscribe.